Concerns over the current coronavirus outbreak have rocked the world as we know it. It is a pandemic that many of us have never experienced, and while the outbreak has also rocked the U.S. stock market, the country has bounced back from such volatility in the past. So tonight we're taking a contextual look back at some of the worst times for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. First, let's get a quick sense of what exactly defines a stock market crash. It is essentially a sudden and dramatic decline in stock prices, resulting in significant loss. And when you think of a stock market crash, you might think of the Great Depression. The Roaring '20s saw a period of economic growth for the United States. It was a golden age for technology with significant innovations in radio, television, telephone, automobile, and aviation industries. But the Wall Street crash of 1929 changed all of that. By the end of October 1929, the Dow Jones had lost almost 90% of its value before bottoming out in July of 1932. That crash then led to the Great Depression, what experts call the worst economic crisis of modern times. The next significant fast crash did not take place until more than 50 years later. The mid-1980s were a time of strong economic optimism in the country, but on October 19, 1987, also known as Black Monday, the Dow Jones plummeted 508 points, losing 22% of its value in just one day. It was the greatest single-day loss that Wall Street had suffered up to that point. In that year, between the start of trading on October 14th to the close on October 19th, the Dow Jones declined more than 30%. And in more recent history, 12 years ago, we saw the 2008 recession. That year, some of the largest banks in the country failed while several others were rescued in a government bailout. From October 6th to the 10th of that year, the Dow Jones fell 18%. Its worst weekly decline ever on both a points and a percentage basis. Then this year, as concerns over the coronavirus in the United States began to boil over, President Trump made his first presidential address on the topic on March 11th. That following day, the Dow Jones dropped 10%, which was the largest daily decline since Black Monday in 1987. Then, less than a week later, on March 16th, it dropped nearly 13%, marking an even more significant one-day loss. For certain, we're in the middle of a roller coaster ride right now. These are anxiety-inducing financial times. But we have history for reference. It took time, but the stock market eventually bounced back from each of the events we just discussed. It wasn't easy, but we have weathered past fiscal storms, leading financial analysts to say, we'll weather this one now.